So I've lived in Fremont, California for over 25 years. It's a very diverse community. One of the reasons uh, I chose to live here, and it's not just diverse in backgrounds and race and education levels, but also with religion. It's not something I think we talk a lot about at work or in the neighborhood, but it's just something we're very accepting and respectful of other people. And I think that's pretty cool. So if you don't go to church, that seems to be respected, or if you do, and because of the diversity and all the people that have come from around the world to live in the Bay Area, I do find it's a wealth of just appreciating different things.
Growing up around all this diversity, I believe, has really changed how I view the world and other people. And I think that is in part from how my parents raised me, because they were also raised in diverse places. My dad grew up in Oakland, my mom in Stockton, and they actually both came to Cal Poly Slow for university, and they've experienced a lot of different people's views and faiths.
Yeah, growing up in Oakland, I was surrounded by a lot of different cultures. It was a very diverse group. Uh, in the 70s and 80s, a lot of immigrants were coming in. So I was surrounded by a lot of different cultures, and it was kind of odd because as kids, we knew a lot of people went to church, but we never talked about what type of church. Um, so kind of in our lack of awareness, everyone just kind of assumed they were going to the same church, thinking that we're all fundamentally the same regardless of what our background is. And looking back, I think that was a good thing.
On another aspect, I grew up in Stockton, California, in the Central Valley. And so from my early childhood until I went away to university, I was raised as a Catholic. Um, my family, we attended uh, church every Sunday. Kids went to Sunday school during the week. I remember one day a week after school, we would go to the church from our public school and take classes. It was more to understand that religion meets certain milestones that they have at different age groups. And even in high school, I was part of the church youth group. There was definitely a connection and a belonging, and it was enjoyable actually knowing the rhythm and what to expect. But at the same time, in about junior high, I started getting a little frustrated with the religion because there were so many rules that didn't always make sense to me. Or I would ask about why it's done a certain way, and either my parents or others could say, well, that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And that wasn't really acceptable to me. However, my parents were understanding that there's a curiosity, especially when you're a kid, a teenager, and trying to find your own path. And many of my friends were other types of Christian religions, and that was my circle. Um, and so they were open to me going and visiting other churches with my friends. And that's when I started to realize there were so many different ways to interpret the Bible or practice the actual service. What were the priorities? Did you get baptized as a child, typically when you're a Catholic, or did you get baptized as a teenager or an adult because it was your choice? For me, I think it just reinforced things I've carried into my adulthood, that there is no one right way. There's different choices people make, and you kind of take out of the religion what it means to you, and how that works in society. So that's kind of carried me forward.
California is so diverse because it's one of the places where going to other churches and seeing how they do things is accepted, and my mom would not have been able to try this out and discover what really connected with her if she hadn't been living where she was.
One of the things that I see that the formal religion and the going to church is real good for, regardless of what branch of religion, is really that sense of community. Um, kind of like when all kids go to the same high school, they're bound together with certain common interactions. I see that with churches. Everybody getting together, a designated date, you're seeing the same people again and again, really breeds that sense of community. But I don't think it's the only way to get that. Anything that you do repeatedly with the same group of people kind of helps build that community, even if it's just something in your own local neighborhood.
The things our family enjoys is that all the holiday lights go up starting early fall for certain religions, and then it carries over into the Christmas time, which we celebrate. So it makes it more festive and yet respectful.
The most valuable lesson to learn from being surrounded by diversity is just being open and accepting of others. And I have learned that through being surrounded by diversity in my hometown and by being raised by my parents, who also were exposed to lots of diversity where they grew up. Diversity is a privilege we hold because my parents and I were raised in the Bay Area, Central Valley, all areas that were very much drew people because of the economic value those places hold. Because of all the jobs that attracted people, we got a wide range of people, which led to a wide range of beliefs. Thank you.